Hey guys, good to see you. We're here at the Mile High Muscle Talk Show. I'm Sarah Hurley.
Dylan Armbrust.
And of course the one and only Jack the Ripped. Miss Jacklyn Abrams will be competing here in 2 weeks at the Mile High Show in Colorado. It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
I think the last time you saw me, I was, yeah. So I had a baby. Little Quincy Kobe is
How's that
here.
working out for you?
No. Well, yes, it's better now. But yeah, I love being a mom. We'll talk about that a little bit, maybe in a little bit, because, everything changes. Your priorities change, and, yeah, I've gotten in about, maybe 2 workouts that were longer than an hour. So, you gotta prioritize. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, we really want to get right to, since we've got the one and only Jack the Ripped here with us, we want to get right to talking to you.
What's up?
Yeah. So she's looking beautiful as ever. I think, a lot of people, of course, everyone in Colorado knows you.
Yes.
You're a Colorado native.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. Born
So tell us a little bit, because you were the youngest professional cheerleader in history. So she has been known to make history time and time again. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was in high school, my stunt coach saw potential in me, and he was like, I know you're not having that much fun on your high school squad. The girls are really catty.
Rah.
Yeah.
You want to do a little more than that?
Yeah, totally. Like, we had already won the state championship, so I felt like it was time for bigger, better things, and he did too, and he was like, well, let's have you try out for the Colorado Rapids, see how that goes. And I was like, all right. He's like, but don't tell them how old you are.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, why?
So how old were you at the time?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah, so I tried out. They loved me. They did my interview. And then at the end of the interview, they were like, how old are you? And I was like,
So there's some legalities in this.
Yeah, they didn't want anybody under 18 because you have to go to, like, promotions and clubs and stuff. So I was like, well, I'm 16. And they were like, are you serious? And I was like, my mom goes everywhere with me, though. So, I mean, I'm fine.
Denny Sutton is one of the coolest women you'll ever meet. I'm sure you'll see her at the shows.
Yes, definitely. She's always there. So they really wanted me on the squad, but they were like, look, you can't tell anybody how old you are, ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
So how was that experience? Clearly, I mean, those of you that know you, your stage presence, your energy on stage, your enthusiasm is unmatched. So clearly it started. Did you start even before that, gymnastics? Or
I only started gymnastics about a month and a half before cheerleading tryouts.
So this was really, from an athletic standpoint, you didn't do anything?
No, I did volleyball, track, rugby.
So you kind of dabbled in everything.
Yeah.
Until you found your...
And then I was like, oh, this is my niche. And I really like doing tricks in the air and tricks on the floor and, like, impressing people with skills that they don't expect from
stupid
a
human
girl.
tricks.
Yeah. So.
Well, we might have to take you up on that before you go, since you mentioned it.
That's awesome.
So you went from that to what? Where did you go from there?
I cheered for the Rapids for 3 years, and then I went to an all-star squad, which is 21 and up, and it's co-ed, and it's like people with super talented abilities or whatever. Yeah. And we were at what's it called? Worlds in Vegas. Mm-hmm. We ended up getting second to Australia, and I was just like really bummed about it because I'm super competitive. And I came back home, and one of my girlfriends, Amy Rose, who is your client and a bikini competitor, she was like, look, Jack, if you want to be in a sport where it's all about you, and like if you mess up, it's your own fault, like then get in fitness. And she showed me Oksana's avatar routine, and she showed me Adela's like routines too, and I was like, I think I can do this. I really want to try this out. Like, let's see what's up. So ended up seeing you.
I know that she landed on my doorstep. Lucky enough. And we'll have to post those pictures actually, because she's got such an amazing work ethic, and clearly genetics on her side, as well as like I said, her work ethic is bar none the best. So yeah, you ended up on my doorstep. We kind of got you going.
Yeah.
Took a different route, going with Carol Semple for a little bit while, and that's where you turned pro, correct?
Yes, I turned pro after 8 months of competing, and it was my first national show, and I was shocked. It happened really fast, and I was caught up in the moment, really excited. I did my first pro show a week and a half later in Toronto.
Did I know that? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I got fifth.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Really great experience.
So you went from Junior USA's to Toronto.
Yeah. And then Sarasota Pro after that. That was like later that year in September. And then I ended up getting into a really bad car accident that December with my husband, where a semi like hit the front end of his Magnum, and I ended up blowing out 3 of my ribs, and I couldn't get back into the fitness scene because of my injury. So,
and let's be honest here, because that's what I do best. So, you weren't happy.
Yeah,
I mean, so you did get into a car accident.
Yeah.
But you weren't very happy.
I was getting injured a lot.
Yeah. And were you, you were getting injured from fitness, right?
Yeah.
And were you you were disheartened by the placings?
Yeah, because it ended up starting to get lower and lower, and I didn't understand when my routines were everything that they were asking for.
Yeah.
Like, all the required moves,
Yeah.
anything they wanted,
Yeah.
and other girls weren't doing the required moves and placing the iron, so it was definitely.
Do you miss fitness? Because as she'll talk about, obviously made her move into women's physique, but you miss some of the fitness.
I do.
Or do you feel like it's still an outlet?
Yeah, but with women's physique, since I have the routine, I can still do just a little bit of what I still can do.
Exactly.
So I still get to show off a little bit of awesomeness.
Yeah. And I remember numerous conversations with Jack about women's physique and I'm too small and this and that. And this drives me bananas, and I know you feel the same. I get people come in to me and they're at 180 pounds, they're 170 pounds, and they're being told by people at the gym, right, that they're too small. And I just, I can't stress this enough. So, you know, I know myself at the Olympia is 5'5", 132 pounds. I mean, how tall are you, Jack?
5'1.5".
5'1.5". And what do you step on stage usually?
120.
Yeah. So please, if all the women's physique competitors out there, please listen.
Don't get huge.
Don't get big.
And this puts it in perspective. Iris Kyle, when she's winning her Miss Olympics, competed around 162. So if somebody out there is telling you you're too small at 170,
you're getting the wrong advice.
This
goes adultly. Yeah. A whole nother conversation of, you know, anybody can say anything. Who's telling you that? What is their success rate? That's important too. So tell us how you made the shift to women's physique, and now you're training under the guidance of the one and only here.
Definitely. Well, I did the Mile High 2 years ago, and I placed 7th.
And who won that
show? Yay! And it was really an incredible experience. Everybody looks amazing on stage at the pro level, and I felt really small. The judges said I looked like a fitness girl doing women's physique poses, which was true. I mean, I had very little muscle. I think at that time I stood on stage at like 112. So
big
difference. So I ended up taking some time off and hitting Dylan up and getting started with Dylan, and we just gotten bigger and fuller and started hitting really heavy weights and seeing him twice a week.
So both of you can answer this. How has your training changed? How has your diet changed, making the switch from obviously fitness into physique?
I eat a lot more. I lift like not necessarily super duper heavy, but it's like high reps, and I get the blood flowing and the pump going that Dylan likes and kills me. So, but we get the results we need, and he really now knows how to dial in my body for shows, and we've got it done 2.5 years later.
Yeah, I think that's another thing, right, too. We've talked about this on other shows, but, you know, it's that high-volume training is really the way to go.
Yeah.
For most people, most bodies, right? And then, you know, you can't underestimate food. How about, so how many women's physique pro shows have you done now?
Shoot. 6 or 7.
And obviously the placings keep getting better.
Yeah.
And what do you both of you could answer? What do you attribute that to? Just and because what I'm seeing a little bit, and what I'm kind of getting at here is, especially when you're trying to put on size, you can't keep competing all the time. You've got to take an effective off season. You have to really orchestrate your season intelligently.
Well, I think, as a professional, I think Jack's learning now. Every time you step on stage, you better be better. Because these judges, they do see you every time. And that's what they're expecting. They want to see you better. They want to see you grow in the sport. So, if you're doing that, then your placings are going to get better. If you're not,
and how do you
they're
grow
kind of
that?
actually disappointed.
How do you, and how do you do that?
You just keep working. Consistency. Everything's consistency. Work. You can't just sit there and say, well, I'm going to take 3 months off. I'll get back in the gym and get ready for another show, which I see a ton of in pros.
Yeah.
I see a lot of pros just, once they turn pro, well, I'm a pro.
Yeah.
And they don't
I've been saying for years. That I firmly believe that if you do not compete, I'm not saying you don't even have to place in a certain, but if you do not compete after a number of years, that pro card needs to go away.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because some of the pros, and really, even, I can remember one of my actually bikini pros, she turned pro, I think the first or second year. Truth of the matter is, she couldn't have turned pro the fourth year.
Yeah.
Because the criteria changes.
And
that's the other thing.
I would, as much as I dislike to say this, with both the new men's physique and the women's physique, I think that holds true with a lot of pros that are in the IFBB now. They're not pro quality. And I'm not saying that to sound like a dick or anything else. I'm just, that everything progresses. And we see what the sport is now. And it's,
it changes. I just think it would keep everything fresh too. And people would keep them on their toes. And again, you not be able to sit back kind of on your haunches and,
just say you're pro.
Yeah, exactly. But nonetheless, I think, like you said, it's the importance of taking and timing your shows correctly. Going to the correct part of maybe the country to do your shows. So you just came off a show in California. John Lindsay always does great shows out there. How did you feel? And can you guys? So this was just a few weeks ago. And what is your game plan coming into the Mile High?
A little bit fuller and rounder.
Yeah,
and keep my conditioning.
Yeah, she came in. I was really pleased when Jack walked out. It was just a whole nother level of
well, that's how it is with you, really.
She placed fourth, which was respectable. Do I think she should have placed higher? Of course, always. I think she should have won.
I know.
But they're still getting the judging. For instance, the girl who won Jack's show didn't even place it in New York. So you're talking about different judges. They're all deciding what they like. So what they like on the West Coast may not be what they like on the East Coast. And all that really matters is when you get to the Olympia, if you qualify for the Olympia, because that's
obviously that's the dance. And that's to give of course the MPC and the IFBB some credit, right? This is really, it's hard to believe, but it's still in its infancy, So give it really that first 5 years to get it ironed out.
Exactly. And
to see, and again, as always, you can always only judge what's on stage, that day, right?
But
so is that what you guys?
She came in very,
so you guys
very
took
well.
away some tactics you'll use for the Mile High.
Yeah, it would be a little bit better, every time I learn more. Because as the body progresses, it changes.
Well, and Jack's, so I think the difference, right, is, Jack's young, right?
Yeah.
Old ass over here. It's like, but you're, whereas Jack probably continues to get better each show versus, again, age and things, it's different after show after show.
Yeah, she works hard. She's very consistent. You know how it is working with clients. Your ones that are doing everything you're told.
Yeah.
The ones that are kind of going, when are you going to change my diet?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you start fucking following, probably.
Yeah, let me know when you're following, and then we'll change it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a new trainer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was hoping so.
Good. No, but it is, and that's the one thing with you. You can always count on your consistency, your energy, your enthusiasm. Anybody that, if you guys aren't already, please follow her. I know she's got a great website too at Jack the Ripped, but always positive.
Always.
encouraging and your energy on stage. So those of you, please head out to the Mile High because you are going to see some impressive competition. Obviously, Jacklyn, are you doing any flips or?
Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah, I got flips.
I knew it. I got flips for you.
Yes.
You're always up to stuff too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you were on stage with Marilyn Manson like a few years ago.
Rob Zombie.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Rob Zombie. I did meet Marilyn.
Yeah,
Manson.
okay.
Yes,
I'm like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Rob Zombie.
He just asked me to perform because I was like, I do my routine, see your music, and he was like, what song? I was like, More Human Than Eve. And he's like, cool, you want to go on stage with me tonight? And I was like, what? Yeah. So he picked out my outfit, and I was on stage that night. It was so
awesome.
crazy.
You know what, though? I will tell you, she's one of those people, it seems like she gets lucky with these things, but when you're prepared, somehow you get lucky. Like, right?
Yeah.
She's always prepared, always looking good, always, like I said, like Dylan said, a professional, too. So, I know I've worked for you in the past as a ring announcer.
Yes.
Are you guys doing any of that? Or are you taking a little breather?
I'm helping out with ring girls for other promoters around Colorado and in California if they need them too.
Yeah.
So basically that's what I'm kind of working with. So I still go to all the fights.
Yeah.
Still in the MMA world. I still have my MMA promoter's license. So at any time there
So,
can be a fight.
Jack of all trades is what you
Try.
What else? What else is going on in your world? She's got all the little kitties at home.
Yeah.
What else do people not know about you?
Not know about
A lot of things. I learned some yesterday. She's telling me.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea that she has this like plastic surgeon like.
Oh yeah,
license.
I have an esthetician license, laser
Look at this.
certification.
I'm feeling like I need to
She's
put
got
on
all
some
these-
makeup.
She's done everything.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
like,
And how old are you again?
26.
And have you seen, what are we rocking on the nails today?
Just some pink.
Oh, this is
black
very
to rep
plain.
The Jack Syrups. Yeah,
It's very plain.
normally they are bedazzled up.
So what are we doing for the show?
Crazy bedazzles.
Okay, cool.
I match it to my suit every time from head to
So
toe matching.
speaking of that, do you have anybody you want to thank
Yes.
as you head into the Mile High?
I do. I want to thank Laura Richards for always making my beautiful suits. You for always supporting me mentally. And Dylan for always being my bro physically and mentally getting me through every prep. My mom for being at every show. And my husband.
She's got a great team of people. You guys, while you're here, do you mind hanging out a little bit? We're going to kind of talk about, the Mile High is coming up. Obviously, we've said before, we have so many good pros in the state and such amazing representation. I'm really excited to see who's going to come out to the Mile High. The only bummer,
we still don't have
we don't have a full
competitor
list.
for
Yeah.
2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how some of the pros are. They
They're
wait till the
like
last
1
minute.
week.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, you guys don't forget there are 5 pro shows that day, which could be really great. Not that
Right.
Jack's been to the Olympia. She's not worried about who's going to show up, but you want to be strategic in the shows
We're
that you
expecting
select.
about 18 men and about 20 women.
Yeah, which is great. That's a strong pro show these days.
So,
We've got some local competitors. Laura Richards, which is pretty exciting. She does make a lot of suits for the girls. She'll be competing. She's coming from women's bodybuilding.
Alex
Carnero. And
he's taken a 5th, a 4th, and a 3rd this year.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
He's progressed.
He looks to
nicely.
be
He looks
a front runner. Michael
forward.
Anderson. I don't think he's coming here. He won last year, if I believe
I'm not
correctly.
sure.
I
I
don't
haven't
think
seen
he's
him.
coming. Laura Richards in women. We've got Rose Bruner competing, correct?
Rachel
Rose
Loftus.
Rachel Loftus.
Rose
Rachel
Brunner is
Loftus
actually
is
going to
competing.
be
Will be
in
no pro team.
Brazil.
What?
Rose Brunner is going to be in Brazil.
Oh, she's going.
Yeah.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Sorry.
Got
Puerto
you.
Rico. Yes.
Rachel Loftus, who's local, who will be competing. Who else, female-wise? I think that's. I know Tony Paradakis will be in town.
Yes,
She's been
yeah.
to Colorado here
She's been
before.
in Colorado the past few months, training here quite a bit. So
Yeah.
she'll be here.
Yes.
It's been fun to see her around.
Yeah.
I did her music for her routine.
Oh, did you? Nice. And that's, I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. The women's physique division is so different than other divisions. Like Jacklyn just said, she made Tony's music.
And Laura Richards.
We all help each other out. Yeah. Even Tycee Kopet, of course, the runner-up to Miss Olympia. She does an angel project every show where it's kind of like a Secret Santa type.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
It's really neat to see that with the women's physique division. And then, of course, the men's physique, like you said, Alex Carnero obviously has to be a huge front runner coming into this show. I believe Jason Allen Robinson is competing. I believe so.
Sure.
But
there's a
Anthony
few other,
Ramsey.
They're both, yes. A lot of Colorado men.
Mario Romero, I believe.
Excuse us if we miss your name.
Yeah.
Not
we
just kind of know.
There's just a lot of you guys lately.
Yeah.
So I really, and it's, as you know, it's so great to be in front of the home crowd hearing that. So we're really excited.
Colorado gets loud.
Yeah, they do.
They used to stand the Bronco games.
Exactly. That's right. So Mile High coming up. One person, of course, that's not going to be competing at the Mile High, which is best, is Heather Grace. Obviously, doing very well this year. Placed, top 10 at the Arnold Classic. Went on to do a couple other shows this year. But she's taken a well-deserved break, which I think is going to be good for her. Of course, she's Olympia qualified already, so we wish her a good and healthy break and come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, I agree.
What else is going on in the world? What's going on at the Mecca, Dylan?
A lot. We got a few new machines out on the floor. Have you guys seen? We're going to redo men's locker room this year.
Oh, ding, ding. When is that happening?
Last year. It starts in July.
Where will they be going to the bathroom?
We're going to kick the women out of theirs for a month and let the men use it.
Yeah.
You guys are
bullshit. I know. I'm like, don't even.
That's so funny.
You guys can use that one stall.
Yeah.
No, we got a little.
You got buckets in the back.
Old trainer's room in the back. Buckets.
Oh,
hey, that's a great idea. Thanks.
I don't think anyone would really care. Us bodybuilders aren't that difficult, are we?
No, not too difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. So when is that going to happen?
That's in July.
All right, on.
So.
Excellent.
You want to take a break and come back?
Yeah, let's take a break. You guys, looking forward to, like I said, make sure you check out the Mile High this year. Check out Jack the Ripped. She shoots often with Mr. Brett Seeley, who's amazing, and really some really unique, great stuff.
He does so much for me.
Yeah.
In my career.
You should have said thank you to him,
yes.
too. She thanks you, too,
Joe Boo, Melly, everybody at Salon Joie.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You guys take care of me and make me look fly.
Yeah. Nobody does this without a crew.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll be back. We're going to talk about what else is going on here at the Mile High Mecca.
Why ArmbrustProGym? This is why.
We're back with the Mile High Muscle Talk Show. I'm here with Miss Jack the Ripped. And D.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, D.
So why don't you tell everybody what's going on with you? Or
What's
is
going
the
on
comeback
with
coming
me?
or what?
Yeah.
Don't call it a come. No. I think so.
I think we've hit some pretty good workouts. I've seen kind of eye of the tiger back in the eye.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, though. I haven't been able to take even a pre or post workout for, gosh, it's been like a year and a half now, because it's been almost a year and a half. Woo! That's so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, even I take Evogen products, right? So I've been doing the Carnogen with my EVP. Even that alone, the biggest thing is just focus. Yeah, it feels good. No, I definitely, I feel, so what I've been up to, those of you, I was 193 pounds at the hospital. Yeah. If you look back on the videos there, you might see that whole 193. But I had a healthy baby boy. I'm absolutely loving being mom to, like, honestly, the cutest little boy ever, Quincy. So it's a lot of fun. It's It is. It's very hard. It's one of the hardest things I've done for sure. But it's so rewarding, and it it gives you a deeper drive and stuff. Yeah. I really was not sure where I was going to be with competing, because I really thought I would be done. Like those of you that know, that year leading up to the Olympia was probably the highlight, obviously, of my life, but also one of the hardest. I was just kind of mentally found the man of my dreams, you know, kind of ready to move into that next chapter of my life. And I really thought, like, yeah, let's end, you know, at the Olympia. How great will that be? But I got to be honest, this sport is in my blood.
You want more.
You want more.
This sport is just, I've been following the sport since I was 15 years old. I've been reading the muscle mags. Rachel McClish, Corey, you know, all those. Laura Cravel was my favorite personally, but so I really thought I would be good, and I'm turning 40 in a month, so I'm getting old too. It's not like, you know, but honestly, I feel this break has been, and I think you've kind of are starting to finally see it too here in my workouts, but this break I think is going to be the best thing for me. Mentally, physically, for my whole life. I have a whole different perspective now having a child. But what I've been doing, a lot of people have asked, and they're asking what I'm taking. First of all, I'm not taking anything, you know, what I'm doing, right? And it's really a great, I think, story of, I just started doing flexible dieting and following macros with a twist. So my biggest beef, and you and I have talked about this, like, is these people putting out Pop-Tarts and Ready Whip and all this, you know. First of all, there's typically not enough room in most people's macros for that. I do, like, I think a few weeks ago I had an ice cream cone for like lunch-ish, right? And my macros were screwed for the whole day. I'm eating like 8 ounces of protein at dinner. But you know what? The thing was, for this period of my life, it has worked really, really well. I've been able to not go, because what happened, and I don't know if you can, you know, relate. I'm sure both of you as competitors can relate. I knew a contest prep diet, and I knew eat whatever you want until you start contest prep again. Yeah. And sadly, a lot of girls get into this place where it's like all nothing, nothing, on, off. And those of you that know, I'm also, you know, 10 years sober, so I have that whole addiction piece added to my resume. So that on-off was part of my life as well. So following macros and doing flexible dieting, I think the biggest thing that's important for people to understand is, no, you can't eat that crap. You don't eat that crap all the time. You know, you're still eating healthy. You might have some different substitutions from the standpoint of like a carbohydrate or a different protein, right? So you have some flexibility there. Right. But I'll tell you what, I've lost, like I said, 48 pounds doing flexible dieting, as well as gradually adding in cardio. I'm doing 4 30-minute cardios right now.
Here's my problem with flexible.
I know.
You're counting macros, dude. Absolutely. When you're eating garbage, Pop-Tarts and stuff like that, I know there's a lot of trainers out there that feel differently, but hey, the truth is, they don't do shit for your body. Yeah. They don't do shit. You get no energy out of them. You get no nutrients out of them. So yes, they're macros, but what do they do for you? Jack shit. Yeah. Done.
Here's the
story. I win.
Here's what I'm going to say about this, because I totally agree with you. And the interesting thing right now, right, is I'm doing everything, but I've gotten to this place in a very flexible standpoint. So I didn't go crazy bananas. Yeah. Okay, that's the positives. Right. Okay. Now, what I'm going to tell you is the quality of my physique is not the same as getting 25 grams from animal protein as 25 grams from a Quest bar or whatnot, okay? I will totally give you that. The important thing, though, that I really have to stress about it is I think it's a great tool to be used at certain times. Right. So in between, or maybe right away after post-show, Do you know what I'm saying? Because, or sort of in that in
Come out of
between,
it, yeah.
so that you're adding in some different foods.
Not such a bounce back.
You're not so crazy. You've got some flexibility, but you guys still have to stay with pretty much the same structure and like skeleton of a diet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, that's what I don't like. I gotta be honest. I really believe in this for a lot of people. Maybe not competitors, okay? Maybe for competitors in between seasons type thing. But the thing that makes me most mad about flexible dieting and macros is the way that it's promoted.
Yeah.
As if you can eat pizza and cheeseburgers every day.
Because that's
you
all they
can't.
post.
Exactly. You can't, okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, I was thinking about it, and it was so funny because on Mother's Day, Barry said, well, what do you want? Of course, he got me some flowers and things, but he said, what do you want? I said, you know what I really want? I want to go to the gym for like 3 hours and do a killer leg press.
And I was in here. You were killing it.
I was. Because, being a mom, I literally have had no more than 1 hour, maybe 4 or 5 days a week total. So that includes my cardio, that includes my lifting, that includes if I want to try to, get a yoga class in. I mean, that's just how it is. So I'm really pleased with kind of where I've gotten in the amount of time and how I've gotten there. But yeah, trust me, we won't be doing macros for long, right, Dylan?
Quality nutrition.
Yeah,
Stuff
and that's
your body
really
wants to eat.
that's something I really want to stress is, again, 25 grams coming from a powder or a bar or something is not the same. Same thing as like getting the carbohydrates from. I hate to use
It's refined.
Anything
It's not
refined.
like coming out of your.
The other thing that me personally, I know you've been a huge fan of is organic. So I'm 100% organic. Kind of as of January, I just kind of just decided to spend that extra money, make that extra commitment, and not only like I said, I feel better, but it tastes better. Ooh. I know it's expensive, bodybuilders, right? Like, I really do get that, but man, is it worth it. So, yeah, what are we gearing up to do?
I think for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should put in for the Arnold and make a debut at the Arnold next year. I think they take you on in a second. That's just me.
Yes,
That's up to them, but I think it would be a good.
So
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, we'll see, but we're taking it easy. I think I'll feel good. My son hits that 1 year mark in the end of October. Of course, go to the Olympia this year. See what's shaking.
And to get married.
She's gonna be shaking.
Get married next month.
Yeah.
I know she's gonna be shaking this. I get married next month. I want to enjoy that.
Yes.
So
Get married on my birthday.
on Dylan's birthday. It's
In
actually
Mexico.
Dylan's birthday.
Yeah.
And then we just
I'm just
happen to
letting
be
them get married.
just happen to be exchanging vows. And then once we get to that 1 year mark, but we're gonna experiment with some different dieting things and training, and so that when I do make my comeback, I'll be better. I think I will be.
You will be.
Yeah, I feel good. I really, for those of you, I just, that's a theme that I'm seeing lately in the shows is just people get so show happy. And, back in the day, you did one show, maybe 2 shows a year.
Right.
And that was it. And then you actually liked the off season because you were playing and exploring and trying new ways and fueling your body.
Yeah.
And then it was like this big unveiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next year. That's really the way it should be. And to me, that's the healthiest route. Maybe bikini, maybe you're not doing, as big of shifts and things. But I would encourage, plan your schedule. Don't diet too long. And these breaks, I know I can speak for myself. I wouldn't really call having a baby a break per se, but they really do the body good. So that's what I would say about
your body.
that. Your body will be good to you.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, we will be filming our show.
Oh, yeah.
From the Mile High.
Yeah.
All right.
And hopefully having some good.
We want to see you in the victory circle,
victory
sister.
circle
That'd be
interviews and
nice,
stuff.
yes.
So
Yeah.
we will see you.
You guys check us out there. We'll probably have a bunch of different guests. And as always, you can make comments as far as training things that you'd want to see us talk about, questions that you might have for Mike Dillon or myself, or even if you want to suggest any guests that you'd love to hear from, and just get to know them a little bit, maybe know their history and how they got to where they are. So thanks so much. We're signing off here at the Mile High Muscle Talk Show. We'll see you soon.